Hi, everybody. Welcome to our crazy show. We're here to talk about episodic games. And we have a full house tonight. Isn't that exciting?
We do.
We do. So, to talk about the episodic games with me is my buddy Dom.
How's it going?
My extra special buddy Mike.
Hi.
And then my extra special buddy Mike.
Hello.
Hi. See, everybody's special here. So, so tonight we're here to
Some
talk...
more special than others.
I don't know where my helmet went.
Wait. Oh, Mike's helmet's at my house, so...
I found my helmet.
Never mind, there it is.
Which I cannot fit over a headset. I'm
Great.
so sad.
You did it.
I did it.
So, like I said, we're here to talk about episodic games. Games that are sold in an episode format. So, I guess we'll start with the most common ones, like that Smash Belt.
Mike
like-
put a hat on.
You know, so I guess the most commonly known ones are the Telltale games, right? So,
Ah.
have any of you guys played any of these kinds of games, or
I have.
you have?
I played Back to the Future.
Oh, cool. How was that?
That was fantastic. However, I didn't finish it.
Oh, no.
See, we're gonna get into this, but I love and hate the episodic format.
Okay.
Because I love it because it spreads it out, so you can't possibly finish it all at once. Right? You gotta pace yourself.
Right.
I like sitting there and just playing a game as much as I possibly can, but I don't necessarily always get to enjoy it that way because I'm just taking too much in sometimes. Where the episodic format, it limits me. It's like, okay, here's this, you have 2 hours of gameplay. That's all you have. Then you have to wait until the next piece comes out, and then you get 2 more hours, and et cetera, et cetera. My problem with it is I do it, I go and go and go, and then I forget about it and never go back. So as you were mentioning this, and I was like, oh yeah, I played back to... I didn't finish that. I need to go back and finish that. So
And,
I have
you
2
know-
chapters left.
You are not the outlier in that either, because the data actually shows that most people will, the majority, tons of people will buy the first episode of, Tales from Borderlands or Walking Dead or whatever. Everyone gets a first episode, and then the drop-off between 1 and 2 is staggering, And then from 1 to 2 and then 2 to 3, forget it. A very small percentage of people actually, finish these games, which is maybe the same problem that you were describing. It's just like, it's gone. You gotta wait a couple months, and then you might actually forget about it.
Yeah,
Just
no,
sit
I
there in
love
your
the
Steam.
game. I love the game, and I just, now that we're talking about it, because it's on my PlayStation 3 nonetheless, not even my PS4. It's on my PlayStation 3, which I never log on to anymore, and I just kind of forgot about it.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what happens, I guess, to some people. Has anyone else played any games like this, or?
I've watched them be played, like people streaming them and stuff like that. I have not actually personally put my hands on one. Dom, wasn't that Jurassic Park game Telltale?
It was, but it was not episodic.
It was not episodic. That was just that. Okay, that's right.
Yeah,
Because
the only other Telltale game that I did play on stream that I think you watched was actually Walking Dead.
I did. Yes. Okay.
So I did Walking Dead Season 1, and I forgot about Season 2.
Yeah, like I said, no hands on. I would probably forget about them. I mean, 2 to 3 hours of gameplay is probably a better alternative to something like The Witcher, where it's like, here's 100 hours of gameplay. And when you're done with it, it's going to feel like you just got dumped by someone.
Right.
Because, there goes a major part of your life.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've never really played any of them personally. I don't really like those kinds of games to actually play, but I love watching them.
Mhm.
Like you said. So I watched people play Walking Dead. That was really cool. I watched a little bit of Game of Thrones, and that was actually pretty interesting. I watched that recently. I would like to finish that. And I guess the one I've actually watched from beginning to end is Life is Strange. That's a Square Enix game, but That one was cool. It was very different. But we'll get into that one a little bit later, I guess, because there's a whole lot of stuff going on with Square Enix that we're going to need to talk about. But Chrissy, have you? I mean, I know you obviously watch Life is Strange as well, because
Yeah, I watch a lot of them. I've never played any of them. Like, I feel like I have, but I haven't. But one that got me, which probably nobody knows, but that got me really invested was Cry played Dreamfall chapters. And it's so good. It's so good that I'm going to go back. I'm going to play, probably stream The Longest Journey, which is the first game in the series. So what they did is they took like a point and click adventure game and then they made it like a Telltale episodic game.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so The Longest Journey was the first one, and then Dreamfall, The Longest Journey was the second one, and then the episodic one is Dreamfall Chapters. And the story is super interesting.
Yeah, I mean, probably the earliest that I could think back to was maybe even not entirely. It's not exactly the same kind of thing, but like the King's Quest series, that was released pretty frequently, you know. And then it was when 7 came out. Yes, all of it was on a CD, but they separated it into chapters, and that kind of felt episodic, but it wasn't. You know, like I said, it was you got it all together, but it's like you go through and you play to an episode, and you're like, okay, well, I feel satisfied. I'm gonna go do something else and come back for the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of like the origin, I think, of like episodic games. But now they're just like you get only part of them at a time, and I don't know.
I mean, and that's the interesting thing is that calling them episodic is pretty accurate because when done right, it can feel like a TV show. It gives you like that same anticipation and
which
sort
is
of
funny.
pacing.
It's funny you mentioned that because you look at TV show ratings and it's the same way. The first episode has phenomenal ratings, and then every subsequent episode after that, they start petering off.
Which doesn't make sense. There's just a lot of people watching the first episode and then just never finishing.
Yeah.
Ratings never made sense to me.
No, a lot of people do that. I do that sometimes.
I unfortunately do that as well.
I mean, you watch
a show and I'm like, this show is garbage, right? And I'll never go back to it. But if there's a show that I'm just like, maybe, I don't know how I feel, I'll at least give it the whole first season and then never watch it again if I don't like it.
Honestly, doing the podcast has made me stick with shows a lot better, so it's helped me quite a bit.
Yeah.
There's a number of shows I wouldn't watch right now if not for that.
Yeah, I mean, or at least getting you over the hump, at least, And I think I would probably be more apt to playing this kind of game like after all of it's come out, and I knew I could just barrel through it instead of like having doing it as it comes out and just avoid spoilers and whatnot. But
good luck doing that with the big one coming out.
Well, I mean, I guess we could get to that. Well, all right. I guess we'll talk about Square Enix now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So might as well. So
I mean, I guess.
So Square Enix did this really cool thing, and they published Life is Strange, like I mentioned before, and this game was a huge success, all things considered. It was one of the most popular games in this genre, I would say, because it had a really cool mechanic where instead of where you save and reload when you made a bad decision, you could just your character could turn time back. And she can rewind and redo things and find out new stuff and all sorts of cool stuff. And there was, that was kind of the gimmick of the game that they used pretty well. So this game was hugely popular. But then they were like, okay, what else could we do? And so they recently announced with the Final Fantasy VII Remake that this would be an episodic game. And people were baffled, to say the least. Because it's like, originally it wasn't. So why now? Why? Why are you not just going to finish it? So there's concern, I guess, is the word.
Yeah, because it's like, why wouldn't you just release it all at once? We want to charge you for multiple purchases. multiple episodes.
Maybe.
It's not even necessarily the price. Like, because for all we know, it could be a bundled fixed price of you get all the things for $60, which would be the cost of a full game anyway.
True.
Right, and that's...
But that's like buying a season pass for DLC.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it gives them time, I guess, to help fund the development as it goes, is kind of the idea. So it's like, okay, everyone really liked episode 1. Now we have more money to pour into episode 5 and 6, whatever. And I get that. And it part of the cool part of it is it does maybe allow for more feedback to come from the players. And I get that too. But, does it work for a game like Final Fantasy? Does it work for a game
And also, does it work for a publisher like Square Enix? Because while Square Enix published Life is Strange, they weren't the ones making it.
No.
Right? Wasn't it like a smaller company making it?
It's like a French developer.
Yeah.
See,
So if it's Square Enix putting it out in episodes, will this big company listen to feedback in between episodes?
Right.
I think it's more likely they might.
I'm actually not against the Final Fantasy coming out in episodic format. I'm probably in the minority of that grouping. My logic is I really want to play this game. And if it's not done in episodic format, do you know how long, realistically, we would have to wait for the entire game to be finished? So by the time we play episode 1, let's say it was released in both formats for whatever reason. It was episodic, right? It came out. You're going to play episode 1 before you ever would have had a chance to play the full game. But if they were making the game separately as a full game, by the time, because the pacing, everything of which they wouldn't have to schedule fragments and publishing and getting over the hurdles of how do we release it on this format and getting it out there and all that, and that by the time we would get to the final episode, if it was released the other way in a full game format, it would have been out. So you look at it this way: you're either going to wait a really long time to play it and then play it all at once, soon, you're gonna wait, but you're gonna be able to finish it sooner. That makes sense. Or get it in chunks, and it's gonna be you get to play sooner, but you finish it later. That's really what that comes down to.
And I don't have I don't think my aversion to it isn't that it's Final Fantasy in episodic format. I think my aversion is Square Enix is making a game episodic that wasn't originally. And that's what kind of makes me nervous.
Yeah, but you also gotta remember, they're if you really played that game and spent a lot of time with that game like I did, there are some areas that just scream for the end of an episode. I could already tell you
You mean each disc?
No, there was 3 discs. It's gonna be more than a 3-disc game.
I thought it was
actually
3.
No,
it was
it was 3. Yeah.
Okay. 9 was 4.
I'm gonna guess. Hold on, before I guess, John, did they say how many episodes it's going to be?
No.
I'm gonna guess between 6 and 8.
Maybe 7.
Ooh.
Oh!
I see.
For the Horcruxes in the game. Oh no, wait.
If I actually sat down with the story fragmented, whatever, in front of me, I could probably tell you exactly where every chapter would end. So
that's really interesting. Because when The Hobbit was coming out, the community was trying to guess.
Mm-hmm.
And they were sort of right, but not quite right. So that's interesting. I'd like to hear what you think the breaks will be.
Yeah. I would have to have the whole thing, but I think leaving Midgar is going to be the very first end of the episode. Midgar itself is going to be the whole first chapter. So.
Okay. Yeah.
That could be. I mean, and that's, and the thing is that obviously a game that you're going to do like this has to be very narratively driven, which Luckily, Final Fantasy is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You can get away with this, and that's even interesting because we don't know if they're going to take some liberties with the plot now to make things less predictable.
They're going
they're
to.
doing
They're
this
going to change.
episodically.
They're going to change a couple things.
They have to, I think.
Because like they're going to have to get rid of a lot of the mini games and stuff.
Yes, well, because they would not be appropriate for 3D models.
Right.
Let's just say.
Yeah. And I know there's a whole scene that they were talking about, like, not including in the original, which was when...
Cross-dressing?
Yeah, the cross-dressing scene.
Which I don't think is a big deal at all.
No, it's not. And
Really
I don't think the reason why they were talking about eliminating it was the fact that he was cross-dressing. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I just think because it was such a side plot in the original story that it's gonna bog the episode down.
Because I heard a lot of things where people were thinking they would take it off because it was inappropriate, and I
don't feel that that's the case at all.
Yeah.
I feel like it was just such a weird. It was kind of a weird, awkward side plot in the original game anyway. Like, and I'm gonna say I'm a little upset that it's going to be removed simply because I want the game to be pure and follow it, but I know that you can't follow it exactly. You can't. Like we see the same thing in every TV show that we watch, every movie adaptation.
Yeah, Tom Bombadil, guys.
Yeah, that'll totally work on the screen.
I still to this day have people butthurt about Tom Bombadil not being Lord of the Rings. I'm like, really? It's been like 13 years. Calm down.
You know how long that would have taken? Like,
oh my god,
its own movie.
Tom Bombadil is his own movie.
But yeah, I mean,
but look at like Daryl Dixon in Walking Dead, right?
Yeah,
right.
People love him. Right? That's something that they added, the TV show added. So if Final Fantasy was to do something and just add like a brand new character in it, are people really going to get upset about it? They might, but it could turn out like Daryl Dixon and be fucking amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you'll always have the butthurts. It's going to happen.
Well,
Doesn't matter what you do, somebody's going to be butthurt.
I mean, that's understandable.
Is anybody really mad, though, that Daryl Dixon is in The Walking Dead?
I've never heard it, no.
No. So, there could be some changes that people are like. Keep in mind, this is not the George Lucas special edition trilogy treatment. Like,
yeah,
special edition.
Mm-hmm.
With the
Yes, he does not have his hands in anything anymore, though. So.
The Hayden Christensen scrubbed into the Return of the Jedi edition.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
That of all the changes he made to the original 3 movies, that one I actually liked. Because it made more sense with the,
with the new canon. Yeah.
I'm torn on that one, but
anyway.
But when it comes down to it, Barrett shot first.
Barrett shot first. Oh God.
Barrett shot a lot of times first. I mean, so all right. So obviously, Final Fantasy. We know this is coming. We know it's going to be. And hopefully they don't fuck it up, is basically all I can say. Because the problem is, we have evidence of games getting really fucked up by this stupid format. Okay, so let's start. No, we're not. We're going to go with one that came out already.
Oh, Hitman's not even out, right? I'm sorry.
Hitman's not even out yet. We're going to get to that. So Resident Evil Revelations 2, the stirring sequel to Resident Evil Revelations 1, in case you wanted it. You didn't.
Revelations 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Right. So this game was very clearly and admittedly made by Capcom and meant to be one continuous game. But they chopped it up to be episodic. And you can tell that they did this because the pacing is horrible. And it was just a hack job. And like the story didn't make any sense. And it was rushed and weird and just genuinely bad. Like there's this one section of the game where Barry is carrying boxes. And that's the end of the chapter. It's like,
hey guys, that's an adequate place to end the chapter. Barry's just moving a bunch of boxes. No consequence.
Cut it here.
All right.
Cut it here.
Cut it there.
So this can go bad when you don't plan for it initially. Final Fantasy is dodging this bullet, hopefully, because they're planning it out now.
Right.
And that's fine. The problem is Hitman is coming out from Square Enix, and it was not. So
Oh God.
let's go through the story of Hitman. So this is going to be the big reboot of the franchise because we haven't had a Hitman game in quite some time, I think.
Not a proper game.
Not right. We've had like weird offshoots and whatnot, but yeah, this is going to be the first Hitman game in a while. So originally, this game was going to be basically you get like yes, and they're making another. So originally, this is going to be like a game where you can like kind of download a demo, and then you can kind of unlock the full game if you liked it. So it was going to be like almost like a weird early access-esque thing, which is cool, I guess. But then they were like, nah, we're just going to make it one full game. Okay, great. And then a few weeks ago, they announced that, no, it's going to be episodic now. And now we know that this game was done, and now they're chopping it up. So it's following the Revelations bad juju that they're chopping this game up. And they announced that the first episode will only have the prologue mission, like the tutorial mission, and one extra real mission.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. That's all you're getting. So, what? Why? Is my question. Why?
I mean,
Why are we doing this?
they're scared for no reason. They think that they're not going to make money with their games on little to no basis. Right?
Yeah.
That's what it feels
Now,
like to me.
I have the creeping terror, because we're talking about Square Enix, that they're going to do this to Final Fantasy 15.
Oh!
Because if they do that, I'm going to cry.
I don't think they're gonna.
I don't think so either, but you know what? You're telling all these Square Enix games, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is the new hotness for Square Enix. We're just going to do, piecemeal game, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, FF15's coming out. Oh God, no.
We would have heard about it by now.
Would we?
Listen,
We
they
haven't
can't cut up all their games.
We don't even know the release date for it.
Let's not even. I don't even want to say this, but let's hope that Kingdom Hearts 3 is not in that format.
I don't think that could do it. No, I don't think so.
Oh,
The collective gasp.
Oh.
the collective fuck no.
No, please. But so
It might
this is
work
like-
for Kingdom Hearts though. That's the thing. It might benefit from that. Who knows?
right.
I
A game
still
like
don't
that, I
believe
could
plot
see it working.
I still don't believe Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out. Until you put one in my hand, I will not believe that it's coming out.
Hey, at least we've seen trailers and game footage of it. Unlike, Half-Life 3.
Right. They had this one
We know
running.
that's never gonna happen.
Which what happened to the Half-Life series? We had episode 1, right? Episode 2. Did episode 3 ever come out?
I
No,
don't think any
Nope.
numbers come after 2, Dom.
Valve can't
Yeah.
count to 3.
They can't.
I
They
don't
should
think
just
that-
make Half-Life 4. Get over the 3 hurdle.
And see, really, they should.
Skip it.
I'm
Hey,
trying to want that to
listen.
happen.
the band Chickenfoot did it. They went from album 1 to album 3. It was perfect.
Hmm.
See,
I mean,
They should just do that.
so,
I would love that, Valve.
but yeah, I mean, it's weird because they really, it's sort of, all right, so if you guys watch Jim Sterling, his videos, he had this inside interview with this guy who had some information about like AAA publishers, and basically there were a lot of meetings going on in these companies like Ubisoft and EA and Square Enix that like they were thinking that this new console generation was going to fail for some reason or another, basically because they were afraid that because game sales dropped off towards the ends of the Xbox 360 and PS3's life, that this indicated that people were not interested in console games anymore, that the future was going to be PC or something like that.
Well,
And
they
handheld.
if that's what they thought, then they have shown no faith in PC. If
Well,
that's the case,
right,
if they think
which is-
PC's the future, then they're showing no faith in PC.
Well,
So
Warner Brothers did a good job of that. Thanks, guys.
yeah, really.
So the idea was that, okay, instead of selling full-priced games, we're going to sell episodic games as a safer bet. Because if people don't like it, we'll just like cut it off at the knees, and we didn't lose as much money and
Right.
whatever. So obviously they were wrong, because really the problem was that the friggin' how long was the 360 out? Like, I mean, that generation. This was a long generation, I think.
Yeah.
Probably the longest we've had in a long time.
7 years.
7, 8 years, yeah.
Yeah, 8 years.
So, obviously, there was a lot of that because people were just like, okay, new console, please, thank you. You know, and I think this is still sort of the, you know, the assertion was that this is sort of still the aftershocks of this, is that they're still chopping these games open and just, you know, selling them in pieces. And
that's sort of what I mean when I said it seems like they're doing this with little to no basis, because we're in the next generation now.
Yep.
Yeah.
They've had the time to see that the numbers are working.
Mm-hmm.
So why are they now deciding to cut up a game they've spent so much time to make in one shot? It still doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because if you think of like, if we go into like, well, I guess I'll have to, the Arkham Knight problems. Now, had they maybe released this game in sections, perhaps they could have said like, wow, this first chapter really doesn't work on PC. Perhaps we should work on chapter 2 a little more closely and fix some of these problems. I don't know. Maybe it could have happened. Probably not. They still haven't fixed the fucking thing, but that's beside the point.
But I see your
But you
point.
see, you kind of see where I'm getting at. Like it's a safer let's just see if this works. But you're right. Like, why now? And why
when they've seen that they're making money.
Right, and like why with fucking Hitman, which is not a narratively driven game. It's not Telltale. It's not. You're not there for the story, really, are you?
The only thing I can really see with that is it's an easy way of, we didn't have enough time to finish development.
Yeah.
So here's something, play it, have fun, and we're gonna continue to make stuff. And the way that Hitman was working anyway is it seemed like they were always going to be adding new missions, right? From what we were seeing online is new missions and stuff were going to come out anyway. So the format to me really isn't changing much. You're just not getting as much at the start of the game as you were originally were.
But I think because most of the games that are episodic have very simple controls, and I don't want to say that in a bad way, just that's how they are.
Yeah.
Something with Hitman that's like skill, you learn how to do the stuff. When there's a lull between, like if you're getting 2 missions at a time, that's not
necessarily what's going to happen. Like, yeah, we'll get the what they said, the tutorial and an actual mission, but you also don't know how from what I can recall, they haven't announced how quickly episodes will be. For all we know, they might release an episode a week. You know, so
there is that, and you also don't know if you're only getting 1 mission or 2 missions. You don't know the size or complexity of each mission either.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's that's really left to be seen. But it's just that we have the knowledge that they took a full game and chopped it up. And
what if one mission is 8 hours long though?
It can't be, because it's not.
I'm saying, what if it is?
No, it's not. I mean, it can't be.
Are you going to be that upset if it was? Like, if you're getting piecemeal missions that are 8-hour missions at a time?
I would be upset if I got 7 hours and 40 minutes through the mission and failed and had to start over.
Yeah. I mean, I doubt it. I mean, it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case because, historically, Hitman games, the missions were not that long unless you really took your time with it. And even then, you can maybe squeeze 20 minutes.
Well, the reason why I'm saying is the mission, because you could have one mission to be like, hey, go assassinate this guy, but you don't know where he is. And you have these tiny objectives leading up to it that are like micro chapters that are just like, you go and infiltrate this warehouse and you get this amount of information, and this information leads you to another building, and this building leads you to a bank, and the bank lets you find this, and you end up going all over the place to get this information. You're getting all these little objectives, but your big mission takes like 7 hours.
It's like 3 hours into it, it's like, I just really want to kill this guy. Can I just do that?
Right?
No.
And then in the midst of all that, you accidentally run into the guy, and it's just like, oh, hey, I'm going to follow you.
The guy like you met in your first objective and you didn't know it was him.
Yeah.
He was
I
like
mean,
your chauffeur.
oh, that would be crazy. Fucking butler. But see,
Lock
my
him in
thing
the
is
freezer.
like, I think it would almost have to be that good for this to be okay because, again, they're chopping up this game as an afterthought, and that means that the game was not paced out for this. We know that it couldn't have been because it wasn't planned to be chopped up this way. So I feel like the story, if there is one, is going to suffer, and we need to know how long it's going to be between releases because if it's something like Life is Strange, Life is Strange only had 5 episodes, yes, but it came out like every month, I think, or 2 months. It was a while between episodes. So, and even like narrative, like Telltale games, like it's a while between episodes.
Yeah.
So it's not every week. It's not every 2 weeks. It's like every month. So, could you be in a future where you buy Hitman and you're sitting on the same 2 missions for a month? I mean, is that fun? Do you care about it anymore at that point? I don't know.
And anyway, like I was saying, my way my video game ADD works, I just no, after a month I would not be able to do it.
Well,
I would do
like,
2 missions and I would lose interest because I haven't finished Fallout 4 yet. I just moved it from one drive to the other, which is practically me as good as me uninstalling it at this point.
I mean, I'm looking right now. So, like the Telltale games, because you mentioned Back to the Future, Episode 1 was released in North America February 15th of 2011. Episode 2 was March 29th. So it's a little over a month between episodes.
Mhm.
May 3rd was Episode 3. So
It's
it's
2
like
months.
no, it's a little over a month because March 29th to
Oh,
April
March 29th.
3rd.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then Episode 4 was June 7th.
All right.
So that was just a little over a month again, and then July 26th for the last one. So
All right,
once again,
so
a
monthly.
little over a month. Yeah.
Monthly. So we'll get Hitman monthly. Does it
We
work? I
hope.
mean, I am of the assertion that this would not work for a game like Hitman because I don't think the story is going to be that great that you're going to be like salivating for the next. Oh God, I gotta know what happens. Unless they really knocked it out of the park with the writing in this one. But I'm not holding my breath. But
Right.
at the same time, I do want to say that inherently, this isn't a bad thing because it's an interesting prospect where, like, let's say it's Final Fantasy. We'll go back to Final Fantasy for a second. So you buy, let's say you bought all of Final Fantasy VII Remake and you didn't like it. You just blew $60 on something you didn't like. At least if it is episodic, you could buy episode 1 for maybe like $15. Decide you don't like it then, you're way less.
Can you buy the chapter separately?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it would make
historically,
sense
you can.
as a model if you couldn't.
Well, because the Telltale games, from my knowledge, you bought the first game and you got all the rest of the chapters.
Not necessarily.
That's
No.
how The Walking Dead worked, anyway.
I don't think recently they've been like that. I mean, you might get like episodes 1 and 2 now I've seen, but like I don't think you're in.
Well, I'm talking about so Walking Dead season 1, the very first, the game.
Yeah.
I bought only the first chapter, and it gave me all 5. All 5 episodes.
Of season 1.
Season 1, yes.
Okay.
So Walking Dead season 2 was a separate game. You bought season 2, and you got all 5 episodes of season 2. So even though they're piecemeal, you still bought it for one price and got all of it.
Because I know with Life is Strange, it wasn't like that. You could buy them all at once, or you could buy each individual episode.
Mhm.
So, I mean, considering Square Enix published it, I was just assuming that was going to be their model for it. But you might be, I don't know if you're right or not about how, what Final Fantasy is going to be like. But I would imagine it's going to be block by block, or you could get like a discount if you buy it all at once, which is, I guess, the most logical thing. But you never know. I mean, you could be all in anyway. But I was just saying that, like, you could feasibly not be all in and not feel bad about it because it's like, well, I only spent $15 and not $60. on a game I didn't like. So, inherently, again, not a bad thing, but it just could be, I guess.
Could be.
I mean, I guess the next question I have is, is there anything you guys think this, maybe historically could have worked for? Like the games in the past. I mean, you may only mention a couple, like, maybe the King's Quest games. I mean, recently they made new King's Quest games that are going to be, that are like this.
They are episodic, yeah.
Yeah.
Which actually started out as a fan game.
That I didn't know.
Well, okay, so hold on. There's a lot going on with the King's Quest series. There was a fan game that was made after, I don't remember the number, but there was Mask of Eternity, which I think was 8.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were making a fan game for 9, and it was like so far apart, whatever. And they had almost finished. They finished a good portion of it, and then they were hit with a lawsuit. And then they actually were allowed. They like, there was big uproar. Whatever, fans were going nuts, like pushing back against Sierra, or whatever company purchased Sierra since then. And what they agreed to do is let them keep the game intact, keep all the characters' names, like even though they were King's Quest characters' names, they just had to take King's Quest out of the title. So, that's what ended up happening with that, and to my knowledge, it was still released free to play, like it was supposed to be, and that was released in episodic format. It was like episode 1 was released, and then slowly. I'm not even sure the whole game is even out yet. I know it started coming out last year, the year before, but now like an actual proper King's Quest is being made for King's Quest 9. So that's where my confusion. And I believe that one is episodic as well. So
yes, yeah. I mean, because I was thinking, like, what works for this, and obviously, like a really heavy story game. So that's what I first jumped to, was like, hey, King's Quest would have been cool like this, and it already is cool like this. And it was an interesting thought, because then I was like, well, what if a game I didn't like came out like this? Like what if, I actually, the Batman example I gave before was a good one, because I was like, what if Batman came out and I was like, oh shit, this sucks, cool. I don't have to be so upset about it, because maybe next time it'll be better. Yeah. Nice thought, I guess, self.
It's yeah, a would-be nice time.
I was thinking, like, man, what if Fallout came out like this? And I know that sounds stupid, because it's an open-world game, but hear me out.
Story-wise.
Right. Story and plot-wise, I'm already kind of doing that.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, you would need a game, and you said Fallout. I gotta go to my holy grail of this year's gaming, and that is The Witcher. That game had a story that could have easily supported an episodic format. I would have been pissed if they did it, because
sure,
that is one of those, you need that whole thing at once sort of thing, but that story was engrossing enough and complex enough to actually do that.
But with Fallout, I think I would draw a comparison to to Borderlands, Tales from the Borderlands, because that worked well.
Yeah, and that's its own game.
That's an episodic,
I mean,
yeah,
that was really cool, because it took a game that existed and turned it into its own narrative thing.
Borderlands had a pretty great story in and of itself, especially the second one. So yeah, that lended itself very well to that kind of format.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess if they were to do like a Witcher side story, maybe they could do it like that, like a game not following Geralt, you could feasibly do. But the other reason I said Fallout, and I know this is gonna get me like lynched, but the game's all fucked up. I'm just gonna say it. It's a Bethesda game. It's all several times a fucked up. There's so many bugs in that game. It crashes on a near constant basis. And I was like, gentlemen, should we have perhaps taken a slightly longer time on this? Slightly. I'm I'm just saying. When I walk into a place that should load, I expect it to load.
Did it do that to you from launch, or is that like newer updates caused it to do that?
It's just been new things pop up every day. Piper still falls to the floor. I don't know why. I mean,
that's still my favorite thing.
It's so great.
And Cogsworth gets stuck on the roof.
He just goes to the roof and doesn't come down.
How do you get up? Well, he does have.
I don't fucking know. But
I love it.
you know what I mean? Like, could they have like maybe like here? You know what? Have a little bit of Fallout. We're gonna take this into the shop.
You know what? You know what other games kind of follow this format too? Is mobile games. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know where my phone is. I've been playing. Mike's been playing too. We're playing Pokemon Shuffle, right?
The next soul-sucking Candy Crush kind of game.
Yeah, it started out as a 3DS title, right? It made its way over to mobile, and the game is not finished. It gets released in patches, and it comes out. It's right now it's up to 300 levels. They just added 20 something levels, 21 levels or something to it. But they keep adding it, so it's like you're getting it in this piecemeal format. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be a story-driven game. And thinking of that, I would love Super Mario to adopt this format and have a whole world come out. You get your grassland, your desert, your ice place, your Bowser's castle, and all this stuff. Think of Super Mario 3D Land or 3D World, whatever, that just was the more recent Mario title that came out before Mario Maker, and just imagine adding a whole new world with new stickers and stars and everything to collect and new unlockables, and it would be a lot of fun.
I think we're mixing up episodic and updates. That sounds like an update or a DLC.
Yeah,
that's not episodic.
Well, the Mario format can be episodic. If it's a whole world that's telling
it would
a
have
story.
to start as you get World 1 and 2, and then later we'll release 3 and 4.
But the World 1 and 2 are going to need a pretty, this Mario game is going to need a hefty story to it, which Mario games are not known for having, a gigantic overarching story. I mean, there's the background story, Princess Peach has been kidnapped by Bowser in this absurd way, and that's really it, story-wise.
Right. I mean, and that's... And I think that's really the crux of all this, is does it have a story we care about? That's really what it comes down to, because that's what keeps you coming back, really. Yeah. It's going to be what makes a game like this live or die, because, again, it's like watching TV. If you turn on, I don't know, Agent Carter, and you watch the first episode, do you like it? Okay, great. You're going to come back for episode 2. But if you don't...
Well, you're probably going to come back for episode 2 since it aired right after episode 1.
Well, that's true. It was one same day.
Episode 3 we'll get to.
I've been thinking, because, John, you were saying if only they had made, something like Fallout episodic, then maybe the bugs wouldn't be around. But I think that what would be better for games like that is if they just said, oh, hey, look, we have to delay it. You'll get the game, it might be buggy as shit, but we'll have to delay it. But no publisher, no one is willing to do that anymore.
But hold on, here's where I don't know, because I don't play Fallout. I've never actually played it. I didn't watch, any footage on it. But Fallout has a lot of open world, go explore kind of stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with the episodic games the Telltale especially, you can't backtrack to the old areas, because
really,
you're only so in the Walking Dead, you're playing this section of the game, and it's its closed unit. When episode 2 comes out, you can't go back.
Yeah, those games are pretty linear in the way they work.
Right. I guess that makes sense.
So
just
Fallout,
because, especially
Fallout,
the ones
where
your choices matter.
Yeah, Fallout, if it did it, would end up being more like a World of Warcraft style, patch updates. A whole new island showed up, and
right, yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I think we have to be careful of what we say would work with episodic when we mean maybe it would work better with patches or with updates or with DLC.
I still don't see why you couldn't, like, go buy, the Wastelands fucking story. I don't know. I just had, like, a different vision of it. Like, it would be a different game, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It'd be a
no,
different
for
game.
sure. Like, they could rope off entire sections of the game. Like, you can only, like, this episode is this one section, this one area. Next episode is you go into this other area, but you would not be able to go to the area before it.
And now, bringing this back, because, and the reason I thought of this in the first place is because of the way Hitman kind of is, where, like, those games are kind of like, you are dropped into a fairly large area, and, like, this is your playground for that mission. So here you go, have fun. And, next mission will be a new playground.
Right.
Whether it's like a sauna or you're in, like, the middle of Mardi Gras, which is an episode I remember because my brother kept stealing this chicken guy's costume, so he was assassinating people dressed up as a chicken man.
I remember
which
that.
was really fun. With a PP7 revolver or pistol. That was funny. So, like, that's why I was thinking, like, okay, well, so if Hitman's going to do this, where it's like you're in a mission, and mission is just one fairly large area, and like you said, next mission, which would be next episode, you're not going to go back to that area. You're going to go to a new area. It's going to be kind of locked out in a sense, because you're not going back to, like, the sauna. Now you're in the ravine or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, I guess, that's sort of where my brain was going with it. But yeah.
Because then, like, take a game like Sonic the Hedgehog 4.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Right? That was released in episodes, and that was not the Telltale format where you buy the first episode and get the whole thing. This was you literally have to buy it in sections.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I did look it up. Telltale does do that. You buy it once, and you get all the episodes. So,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Confirm. Sorry.
Yeah, where Sonic the Hedgehog 4 was not that way. I bought episode 1. I didn't like it. I didn't buy the rest.
Good on you.
As did many.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that game.
I did forget about that game.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't even know it existed.
Exactly. It's pretty bad. But yeah, I guess that's sort of an analog to all this. It's like, there's a big example of it just blatantly not working, and it was planned to be chopped up in the first place.
Running around.
I mean, that game had its own myriad of problems.
That's what made me think of Mario, and I still feel like Mario could be done episodic and not, like, not just updates, but, like, actual episodic. Like, not one, like, I said one world at a time, but I'm realistically, put 2 or 3 worlds at a time, and it's just like, it would be kind of cool.
It would take what Mario Maker's kind of already doing, and, like, you're creating this, people are creating this expansive world of levels, but, you're doing it in a way that's more segmented and controlled. But, yeah, in theory, I see what you're saying.
Like, how cool would it be to go through, like, the new Super Mario Brothers and, like, update all the old stuff? Like, not the old levels, but you're in the old lands. Like, you're in the desert from Mario 3. Like, it's the same desert, and then you're going through, and now you're back on, like, one of the whole, like, next chapters could be you're back on Dino Island. You're back in Mario World territory. You're the whole dinosaur theme and everything else, and then, another chapter, another episode, whatever, they could go to a brand new place, somewhere from Mario Galaxy or something, but do it in that side scroll format.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I mean, that could be cool, I think. I mean, I think if Mario Maker didn't exist, I think that would be viable in a way.
I still think it is, because Mario Maker doesn't have everything. You can't make, like, Soda Lake and, different things.
But it could, my friend, it could. Someday.
So you want I guess I'm just confused with your vision. The old games for us to be able to go in and change things?
No,
just like
I'm not talking about editing anything. I'm talking about for them to re-release Like, one game is like, okay, you have your 8 worlds, and it's let's just say it's the original Mario Brothers, but it's not the exact levels. It's just like themed after the stylized way of the world worked. And then your next chapter is actually Mario 2, but it's not the same levels, but it's Shy Guys and Pidgeots and Birdos and things like that, and then your next chapter is like Super Mario World, where it's Dino Island, and I'm not saying to actually remake those games, but the setting would be those games.
Yeah. It's just reimaginings of those things, basically. But,
kind of. It'd be almost like it takes place in these worlds on areas you've never been to before.
Okay, yeah. So just different parts of that world. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. But like each one would be released as an episode, like it's a whole section of the game, like a full 8 worlds of each chapter,
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I mean, do we have anything else we need to say about this lovely topic?
Do not buy Sonic the Hedgehog 4.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
take anything from this.
it's like
that.
probably
It's
the
that.
only really good piece of advice that this episode has.
And I get the other piece of advice is just be wary of what goes on with this sort of model. Just be careful. Pay
You're
attention.
better off buying Sonic Generations than you are episode
Well,
4.
we also learned not to buy Resident Evil Revelations 2.
Yeah.
Fair. Bury the push box. But yeah, I think, like we said, to sum it all up, Episodic probably need a good story, need some cliffhangers, needs to be well planned out, like the show.
If it's a Telltale game, you can buy it.
Go ahead, it'll be fine.
Like, if you haven't bought it, you're wrong.
Yeah, Telltale's got a pretty good track record with these games.
Yeah,
So
Like even they did Minecraft just recently, didn't they?
Yep.
they did.
and people flipped out because you couldn't build things, and it's like, do you not know what this was?
People are like, "What is this shit? It's not Minecraft." It's like, yeah,
Correct.
it's not.
You are correct.
Yeah.
I laughed when I found out
And
people were angry. 'Cause it's
and
just
Square, it's like, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm not concerned. I'm not excited. I'm not concerned.
Change the
So-
flavor of the month, though, please.
So I will have to wait and see how Final Fantasy is done before I'm gonna pick it apart. I'm excited because I get to play it early. That's really it right now. That's the only benefit that I see, is I get to play part of the game sooner than I would any other way.
Yeah.
And I could, if that's the reason, like, because I just read an article at the beginning of this when we started talking about Final Fantasy, like, oh, it won't be out until 2018 at the minimum. When is that? When episode 1 is coming out, or have they not? Is it coming out earlier?
yeah.
No,
I
it's
believe episode 1 is 2018.
Oh,
So-
never mind.
2018.
But if that was the case, if that's the case,
For
think
episode
about
1.
think about if that's when episode 1 is coming out. Think about them having to produce the whole rest of the game on top
Forget
of
it.
that.
Be 2020.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. I can see that.
So that is why this format is going to appease people. Didn't say work, but it's going to appease people.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see once we get it in our hands if it works or not.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I guess we'll leave it at that, gents and lady.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
Gent, I don't care.
you could be a gent. Alright, fine.
Yes,
You're a gent.
gents.
Alright, well, that's our show. ladies and
Gentle
gentlemen.
lady.
So let's go around the room. Dom, where can the people find you?
You can find me down below at XIZTA with an underscore.
And Mr. Mike?
You can find me there on Twitter, Philodrin, with no special characters.
None of those. And Miss Cleo?
You can find me at Cleomoto on places such as Twitter and Twitch, which I will start streaming because I'm getting into computer.
Yay!
You can't find me at MySpace.
No.
Don't, you
never.
can't do this on this. You can't do that on this show. Don't.
Pinterest.
Yeah, the
No,
font's
no.
different, the song's different, it doesn't work. You can find me at No More on Twitter. You can find all of us here on Serious Gents on Twitch, Tuesdays at 9:30-ish. for our
Ish.
weekly gaming podcast. And you can find these videos and our TV show podcast on ASOTV on YouTube. Check it out. We do a million shows. And we're starting to get back into the swing of things.
Literally a million.
Exactly.
Literally a million. So see us there. I hope we have some shows you like. And the VODs for all this stuff will be up there, soonish, in case you missed it. So, unless you are watching the VOD, which means you're already there. Hello.
Ooh, hi.
What are we gonna do with you,
Mike,
John?
every time your background gets me every time.
We'll see, everybody. Take care.
Bye bye.